At South Plains College, we believe in breaking down barriers to education. Open Educational Resources, or OER, are opening doors for students and faculty alike, making learning more affordable, accessible, and impactful.
I got started with OERs, the Open Educational Resources, when there had been a call from the Higher Ed Coordinating Board for a grant, and the grant was to develop an OER for credit-based classes such as Composition 1. We really wanted to pull in the science of reading to help students become better writers. So we applied for that grant. It was a $40,000 grant to create the OER, and we were one of, I believe, 25 recipients to receive what was called the Developmental OER Grant to create that new OER piece.
When our faculty have control over their materials, whether it's the textbook or it's the ancillary materials, the tests, the quizzes, we feel like the students get the most out of those classes.
As an educator, one of the most important things to me is access. I want students to always have access to everything. I think that is crucial. They need to have access to quality textbooks and materials, to technology. And textbooks are great, but they can be expensive.
OER, as far as in industry, definitely saves students money. Saves them time. It saves them actually a little bit of stress on the forefront because, first of all, financial aid, it takes a little bit of lag time at the beginning to get their funds in. They'll start the semester. They'll need textbooks at the start of the semester, but if they rely on that financial aid, that might not fund until 2 weeks later. So they're in this limbo.
There were times when I would have students who would have to wait at least a month before they could purchase a book because they were waiting for their next paycheck from work or they were waiting for their financial aid reimbursement. And so this is a great way where I can have students start right out of the gate on day one. Everyone has that access to quality materials.
My students love OER. They love that they're able to access the materials from any device, anywhere, anytime. And it's not a physical textbook that they have to sit down and have with them and big and bulky and carry with them. And it's also not something they have to pay for. So the flexibility and the accessibility that comes along with OER, they love having that. And also the diversity of it. So it's not just a textbook where they have to read through it. It can be a textbook online, but it can also be the hands-on. It can also be different modules, and it can be interactive things that you find online to work with OER.
Our math faculty have been doing OER for 10, 15 plus years. They took their classes and they took control over those materials, and we've seen really good success in those classes for our students. And we want to emulate that, and we want to copy that across all of our disciplines here, including our technical disciplines, including our health professions, and obviously our arts and sciences as well.
With creating and implementing our own OER for the welding program, we've actually decreased the time in lecture in our classrooms. We've become more productive because additional time that we now have in the welding lab. Test scores have also gone up. Homework scores have also gone up since we started using our own created content. And then the extra time in the lab has also improved our practical and hands-on scores and grades.
Well, it helps the students because it's a lot more accessible. They don't have to carry around as much stuff, but it really helps the community because obviously taxpayers are paying the police department. They're short, so they're using a lot of the salaries to pay for them to come through the academy. So it's allowing more of our even smaller police departments to be able to fund sending people to our academy with all this all-inclusive tuition so that they can get more officers out there on the street.
The beauty of OER, and I learned this pretty quickly when we were writing our book, is that you can really make it what you want it to be. You can use brand new material that you author. You can remix it. So you can jump in and you can, depending on the different licensing, you can jump in. Maybe you find a great resource from another faculty member at another college. You can use that and give them the credit.
There's a lot of different things you can do with creativity that don't cost anything. that just gets their ideas. Where are we at now? Instead of going, okay, learn this and then recite it back to me. I know you've heard this word, what does that mean to you? And do things like that. So a lot of different things there where we built those into there and just had interactive things where we stop and do something interactive.
We literally from scratch made our own OER material for students that they had access to from day one. They didn't have to pay for, and which allowed them to use either their financial aid or their personal funds to devote to their knife kits, their vegetable peelers, their meat thermometers, their non-slip shoes that they also need for the program. So it was a win-win for us.
So my biggest thing is affordability. I really want the students to be able to afford and be successful in their courses. And organic chemistry can be one of those classes that costs a lot of money. We need a textbook, we need a lab manual, sometimes solutions manuals that go along with that. And rather than having the students give us or have to buy a textbook that costs $800-900, if we can move that into OER where they're paying nothing, they can use that money towards other things in their life or other courses or wherever they need it.
Without having textbooks, we put more money back into the student's pocket for better tools, better equipment that each student has to provide on their own. Also, without having to keep purchasing license agreements and spending fees for content, that money will be reallocated for more supplies and better material that the program purchases for their students.
The other day I announced in my class I had them all do scavenger hunts, syllabus scavenger hunts, and the top question was, how much is the book? And when I told them it was free and that I provided everything for them, from links to ebooks, including mine as well as others, they were just thrilled. You could just see the relief that they didn't have to go and spend that money.
We want to stay competitive with other institutions, not only in the state but in the nation, but we also want to allow our students to get the most bang for their buck with their education. Quality education at the most affordable price possible will set the student up to move forward into their industry of choice or to their college of choice when they decide to transfer. So we're excited about OER and we're excited to watch it grow here at SPC.
For open educational resources, SPC is here.
SPC is here.
SPC is here.